Hello and welcome to Maverick Learners. In this video, we will understand the concept of inheritance. So, first of all, we have to understand what is the difference between aggregation and inheritance. So, when you want to use some property of any class without the requirement of modifying it or adding more functionality to it, in such case, we use aggregation. Okay, which is because in case of aggregation, we are just using any external class inside our class as a variable. If you remember from the last video of aggregation, what we have discussed, we created two classes with the name of class in rupee and class salary. And class in rupee was included into class salary by just declaring in rupee as a variable over there. So that was the concept of aggregation. But when you want to use and modify some property of any external class, or maybe you want to add more function on top of it, so it will be easier to use inheritance over there. Okay, so there are total 5 kinds of inheritance. Those are single, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple, and hybrid. But multiple and hybrid is not supported in Java, which is because Java give more preference to the early binding, not late binding. So what does that mean? It prefers more compile time error rather than runtime error. So that's why. Okay, so let's start. So for that we have to create a text document. Let us give the name as sample, change the extension as Java. Now let's edit it. So first of all, we have to create a class with the name of sample. Now we are going to give it the basic structure of a Java class. So this is the basic structure of a class. Static. Now we want to create more classes to understand the concept of single inheritance first. So for that, let us create 2 more classes with the name of class A. Let us give a method inside it, void 1. Okay, and write some code inside it. So it will print class A. Okay, now let's copy it. Copy, paste, give the different name of the class, change the name of the method, and also change over it here. Now to understand the concept of single inheritance, so we have to create an object of class B so that it can inherit the elements of class A. Okay, so for that we have to create a object over here, which is why, because class B is of instance type and class sample is of static type. Whenever you call any instance member from a static member, then you have to create an object of it. So that's why. So let's do it. B is equal to new B, and now we are going to write A dot 1, enter, A dot 2. So what do we want? We want to inherit the elements of class A into class B. So for that we have to use the keyword extends over there. Extends A. What does that mean? Class B is the subclass of class A, where class A is the superclass. Okay, now class B extends class A. which means elements of class A will be included into class B. Okay, so now let's have a look what will happen if we compile it. So cmd, change the directory, desktop java c sample dot. Now if you look, it has compiled successfully. Now let's run it. So you can see class A and class B printed successfully. What does that mean? We have successfully inherited the elements of class A into class B. Okay, so now let us understand the concept of multi-level inheritance. So for that we are going to create one more class. Okay, now here we are going to create class name as C, and it will extend class B. Let us make certain changes over there also. A dot now what will happen if we not make any further changes and try to run it? Let's have a look what will happen. Save. Now if you look, you can see there is an error which is in line number 14. Cannot find symbol A.3. Why? What does that mean? So if you look carefully, we have created the object of class B. Okay, we have created the object of class B, and we are trying to access the elements of class C, which is not possible because class C itself extends the class B. So the only possible way is to, by creating an object of class B, there is only one possible way to extend the element of class A to class B only. Okay, there is no more way. So to have a look of multi-level inheritance, we have to change this class name over there. Okay, now let's save it and have a look what will happen. Now you can see it has been successfully compiled. Now you can see all the elements are successfully inherited, class A, class B and class C, which is because we have created the object of class C, which extends class B, and class B extends class A, which is multi-level inheritance. Okay, now let us understand the concept of hierarchical inheritance. So to understand that, we are going to just change the name of the class extended by class C. Okay, here class A is extended by class B also as well as class C also. So if you try to run it without making any further changes, let's have a look what will happen to it. You can see there is an error. What is that error? Cannot find the symbol A.2. So what does that mean? It means that as class B extends class A and class C extends class A, both class B and C are extending class A, and you are trying to create an object of only class C and trying to access the elements of class A, class B and class C. So if you look carefully, on creation of object of class C, you can only access the elements of class A, not class B. Okay, so if you just simply comment this line and save it, there will be no error further. Okay, let's have a look. Now you can see, there you go, there is no error. Okay, so now if you run you can find the result given over there, class A and class C. What does that mean? As we have created the object of class C only, and the scope of object created is limited only to class C as well as class A, not to class B. Okay, so that's why we cannot access any elements of class B. Okay, now if you want to access the elements of class B, then you have to create another object and then you can call it. Okay, so for that we have to create b dot suppose C is equal to new space B. Now change. Now if you try to run this, it will run successfully. Okay, let's have a look. We can see it runs successfully, which means class A, B, C all are printed over here. So this is the example of hierarchical inheritance used in Java. Okay, hope you understand the concept of three inheritance type that we have discussed: single, multi-level and hierarchical. So that's all for this video. Thank you.